Everyone, welcome to the show. I have updates to share about students that Donald Trump is trying to deport. And I have proof that the administration is just fabricating excuses to try to remove these people from the country. So, before I get into the details, though, please do me a favor. Click on the subscribe button below this video. It is free, helps the show tremendously. So, I really, really appreciate it. So, on to the news. The first update that I have is a quick one about the Tufts student who was detained as she was walking down the street in Massachusetts. So, I'm sure you guys all remember that video. She was surrounded, she was grabbed by men and women who did not have on any uniforms. They were in plain clothes. They threw her into an unmarked vehicle and they just, took off with her. And this was because she simply co-authored a newsletter for her school's newspaper and called out their support of Israel, took issue with Israel. And so on Friday of last week, a federal judge ruled that she needed to be transferred. Her name is Rumeysa Ozturk. The judge ruled that she needs to be transferred to a Vermont detention facility and that she should be held there pending the outcome of her case. The judge also said, quote, "The court finds that Ms. Ozturk has raised significant constitutional concerns with her arrest and detention, which merit full and fair consideration in this forum." Yeah. So what do you know? Donald Trump is not doing things by the book. And up until now, I should point out, she's been held in Louisiana for some reason. So they took her all the way from Massachusetts down to Louisiana. I say for some reason, we know why. It's because the Trump administration knows, and this is why they're moving people to Louisiana and Texas. The courts down there are much more sympathetic to their lawlessness and their violation of the Constitution. I also have a quick update to share about Mohsen Madawi. So Madawi, you might recall, he is a green card holder. He is a permanent legal resident of the United States, and he was also detained. He was also thrown into a detention center for no reason. The Trump administration claims, it's because he's anti-Semitic, because he took part in pro-Palestinian anti-war protests. Several witnesses, though, are now saying Madawi is one of the people who would get in someone else's face and tell them to stop making anti-Semitic remarks. So during protests, when other people were saying things about Jewish people, Madawi was the one who would step up and he would tell them, no, that's not allowed. And one of the witnesses who's telling people this is his friend, who is a Jewish Israeli man. So you're getting it from someone who it would directly affect. This guy's name is Mickey Baratz or Mikey Baratz. I think it's Mickey. Anyway, no, maybe it is Mikey. I think it's Mikey. Anyway, Baratz, he spoke with the Intercept news outlet and he said, quote, "The irony of him of all people being someone they target is so funny to me. This person who has denounced violence, this is a person who had a split from the protest movement because he felt like they were not self-policing. This is a person who has had many, many disagreements with the pro-Palestinian movement for feeling like that they are refusing to moderate." And then Baratz explained to The Intercept that Madawi has lost at least 8 family members in Israel in the Hamas war. And then he has had other family members who have been tortured and imprisoned and attacked by Israeli soldiers, by the IDF. And Baratz said, quote, "He has every reason to hate me. He has every reason to be angry and want violence, and he doesn't." And then Baratz also told The Intercept that groups that are supposedly trying to help the Trump administration fight anti-Semitism, he believes they're doing more harm than good. And I agree with him, because they are targeting pro-Palestinian protesters. They are literally making lists and turning them over to the Trump administration to target these people like Madawi, who have done nothing wrong. And Barat said, quote, "How can I take anyone seriously talking about Mohsen being anti-Semitic? They don't know Mohsen. They don't talk to him." And Madawi had been interviewed by 60 Minutes. This was back when the protests were all taking place at Columbia University. So he is on video at that time, and he tells the story of how other people tried to infiltrate the protests and that they were making anti-Semitic comments. And Madawi told the exact same story that Baratz is telling and other witnesses are telling about how Madawi immediately took issue with these people. He went up to them and said, "You are wrong. You do not represent our protest. You do not represent our group against the genocide of the Palestinian people. And that's not allowed. You're not welcome." So we'll see what happens with those cases. The main issue is Trump's administration is violating First Amendment rights afforded under our Constitution. And this is especially true for someone like Madawi, who was living in the United States with a green card as a permanent legal resident. Now, Ozturk's case is a little bit different because of the fact that she was here under a student visa, but she hasn't even been shown to take part in a protest. So she has done nothing other than co-author that one article in the school newspaper. And Madawi, he is obviously at much greater risk. If they deport him and just dump him in the middle of a hot war on the Gaza Strip, I mean, that's insane. It is absolutely insane. I also have a very quick detail to share about one of Madawi's friends who you guys have heard about, who I've talked about, fellow detainee Mahmoud Khalil. So as you all know, Khalil was the first pro-Palestinian protester who was abducted by Trump's Gestapo. Khalil is also a legal permanent resident. He also has a green card, and he's been in detention since March. Well, it's now been reported Trump's Gestapo denied his request to be present for the birth of his first child. Khalil's wife, as you might recall, she was 8 months pregnant when ICE arrested him. She has now confirmed they refused his request to attend the birth of his child. And remember, not only is Khalil's wife an American citizen, as with some of these other people, they've just gone and, grabbed off the streets. But the government hasn't shown any evidence to prove that Khalil has done anything wrong. He didn't break any laws. He didn't harm anyone. He didn't even threaten anyone. He has made no anti-Semitic comments, just like his friend. The only thing Khalil did was he peacefully protested against Israel's slaughter of innocent Palestinians who have absolutely nothing to do with the terrorist organization Hamas. And yet his wife had to give birth by herself. She had to give birth alone without her husband. And Khalil was deprived of seeing his child's birth. Trump and all the rest of these people in his administration, these ICE agents who made this call, these people are monsters. Everyone in the Trump administration needs to spend time behind bars, or they need to be sued. They need to be sued into oblivion as soon as they're out of the administration. You would think that they would have learned from, what Rudy Giuliani went through, Peter Navarro, so many other people. But no, they just think they're above the law. And obviously they think that Trump is never gonna go anywhere, that he is going to be there forever. I mean, guy's like almost 80 years old and just had a questionable medical exam. Let's just put it that way. So, yeah. All right, guys. We'll keep you posted. I'll let you know when I hear more on these cases. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like, please share, and subscribe to the channel. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.